Well, welcome to the Beyond Cinema Studio here at the Sundance Film Festival presented by Celebs.com. I'm here with Joe and Michelle, Seun and Idris of American Promise. Congratulations on the film, you guys. And I hear you guys saw it for the first time in its entirety. What were your overall impressions after this grand 13-year venture?
Idris, Seun,
Joe and Michelle.
Why am I talking? Okay. It was interesting seeing all the people's reactions to me and Seun and our parents' lives on camera. So it was nostalgic at the same time, but it was very interesting.
Yeah, basically what he said was, it was mixed feelings because, I've seen it, but with people that I've known. So, you'd feel a different way about it, but seeing it in its whole entirety with a crowd of people that I have no idea who they are, it was, to see that they were content with the film was pretty cool, so.
well, I have mixed emotions. One, I was nervous, and because I want to make a great film, and I don't know how to gauge that. Do you?
Yeah, it was very hard to gauge after. I did feel a sense of relief that we did it, we made it, this part is over, now on to the next phase. It's kind of weird to see yourself up there.
Especially for that length of
time.
Yeah. On a big screen too.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I still I haven't gotten used to it. But what I really felt good about is to hear all of the, there was a lot of laughter. There were a lot of moments that we thought were humorous and funny and endearing, that we obviously realized that sense of feeling permeated through the audience as well. So there were things that were clicking that we had hoped would click, and that was very satisfying.
I think I'm looking at the film last night through a couple of lenses. One as a filmmaker, also as a parent, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I was very proud of these two guys, and I was thinking, wow, we participated in that, right? But don't get your egos floating because you've got a lot of work to do.
Sounds in the wrong place. Photos everywhere.
But the other issue, I know that the audience had a hard time with my character on a couple of moments, and that was hard for me. But yes, you do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, but there's one sense, there is a sense of frustration as a filmmaker when you know the devices of storytelling and what it means to cut certain things out and how you build characters. So there were some very tough choices we had to make for the sake of having a story that had a strong dramatic arc. And I think we have to keep reminding ourselves also that, this is really, although it spans all, 13 years, it's really a slice, still nevertheless, a slice of our experiences throughout that journey.
Do you think that you felt like you were represented well and represented the way that you saw yourself growing up in the film?
I thought it was, at first, when I heard the film was going to be in Sundance, I was quite skeptical about how I was going to be portrayed in the film. There were still a couple of embarrassing moments for me, and I bet for Seun too, but overall I think it's a pretty good portrayal, also pretty accurate as well, which is good.
Yeah, I agree too. There's a lot of times where I was like, wow, I really did that. Yeah, I'm crazy. but it definitely portrayed my character.
When you guys look at each other and you see, you've grown up with each other, how do you think your respective education has influenced the people that you guys have become?
Well, I just think that one of the great things about me and his friendship is that it really hasn't changed, no matter if he was at Dalton or at Banneker. We might have changed as people along the way, but our friendship hasn't really changed. We've been the same to each other throughout, basically family. So.
What about you, Seun?
Just being in Dalton until 8th grade, you know, and then finally moving to Benjamin Banneker. You know, it was almost, I wouldn't even say it was culture shock, but it was a nice change. And, you know, I took the things that I learned from Dalton, you know, and I applied them to Benjamin Banneker, and it worked out quite fine. And I think it worked out even better because I seen Idris more when I was at Banneker than I was in Dalton. Because he was right next door.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did being in this documentary add any pressure to you guys to succeed or to become what your parents had hoped for you? Did it add any extra pressure?
I think, there you go.
I definitely think it did. Like, this is another reason why I didn't want to, like, at first I hated this whole thing so much because, you know, I felt like I had to succeed because I had this camera in my face and I just get frustrated all the time, you know, if I made one little mistake. So, but I'm just glad that I guess I warmed up to the idea, you know, at the right point, at the right time. And it worked out for the better, I guess.
I think it might be a little different for me because my parents were the filmmakers. So for me, I didn't think there was a lot of pressure on us, but I think that was just from our parents and the school that we were in and the environment that we were in. I don't think the film had a lot of added pressure on me, but I can see how it had a lot of pressure on Shay.
Looking back to when you guys started this 13 years ago and now looking at our society today, how do you think conditions for young black males have either improved or worsened or changed? How do you think that has changed over the 13 years?
Well, I think it's a mixed bag. I think there has been some progress made, but we've also kind of stagnated at certain levels, and you see that in the film, and that is the conflict. While on the one hand, we have a black president who's been re-elected, which is fantastic, and we see kind of that history and kind of interwoven organically through the film, but we also have the incidences of violence, such as the Trayvon Martin situation that these young men have to face when they walk down the street. So there is a bit of a paradox there. So while we're taking steps ahead, there's still so much work to be done around them being able to be perceived as full human beings. And we hope that the film helps shed light on the complexity of these struggles, on the complexity and challenges that our families face.
It's good.
Joe, we were just talking, you told me you went to an all-black high school in Los Angeles. How did, Joe and Michelle, how did your education influence what you wanted for your kids?
Well, you know, I went to an inner city high school. It was not a difficult place to excel. When I actually entered college, I noticed that the kids who with independent school educations didn't struggle as much. I needed 10 hours to get that A, 5 days a week. I was driven. But I saw the guys from these top prep schools. We used to make jokes that they had the education of kings. And yes, that's what kings did. They put in a major number of hours for many years, and they used that as currency in their lives. And so the point is that I wanted my son to have that power, the power of language, writing, understanding science, and so that's how Crenshaw High informed this decision to make an attempt at a school like this.
I think for me, it had a lot to do with the issue of upward mobility and maintaining, you know, maintaining a middle class status that we kind of worked hard towards. For me, you know, kind of first generation college graduate, public school education, although Ivy League universities, there was a certain drive that coming from a space where access was sort of limited and there were a lot of other concerns. So it's really, the parenting side is about trying to transfer the drive onto these kids while also understanding the opportunities that they have and keeping those opportunities open so that they have more freedom of choice to be happy and not have to have the same worries. So I think that's kind of what was driving me as a parent.
Idris, do you think Dalton delivered on what your parents had been promised or what your parents had hoped for out of that school?
I think it has for me. It's given me the tools that I need. As I've seen a lot of other kids doing, working a lot more than I have, but I think they've given us tools in terms of talking to teachers, and because that was one thing I was stressed at Dalton, really communicating with your teachers as on making them your equal and kind of talking to them as people.
I think the point that we'd like to make is that it's not just the education.
Right.
It's not the facts. It's some social, emotional support that the kids need also.
Mm-hmm.
And certain environments don't provide that.
Mm-hmm.
And it also depends on the boy. They have different needs for support. So you have to find an environment which is demanding and provides the right emotional support to grow. And that's not easy. And it's a different need for every child.
Seun, would you say that Banneker provided that emotional support system for you that Dalton maybe couldn't?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel that way because that's another reason why I felt that I left Dalton, because I felt like I had no real connections with the people who should be supporting you. I went to Benjamin Banneker, and the teachers are like my second mothers. So, male teachers are like my fathers. So, I definitely had tons of support, educationally and emotionally.
Would you guys do this again, all of you? If I could get an answer from all of you, would you go back and do this documentary again, if you had the chance?
If I knew it was gonna get into Sundance.
If you knew you were gonna get those Uggs. Yes.
If I know he's gonna get these Uggs, I'd do it. I'd do it.
Idris, for the Uggs, you'd do it again?
For the Uggs, I just like to be given a choice this time.
Yes.
Instead of just being forced to. But
That sounds like a whole nother interview.
Yeah, it is.
It definitely is.
How about Joe and Michelle? Would you guys do this again? Would you put your children through this again?
Yes.
Yes.
We love filmmaking, and this is a puzzle on so many levels. It's hard. It's very hard, but it really allows us to work. And so we didn't know what we were getting into, but we were knee deep into this, and we had to. It was a fight almost every month to figure out how to move forward.
And you would do that fight again.
Yes.
Joe, are we going to see more documentaries or narrative films from you? You had one here at Sundance called The Keeper. Are we going to see any more films from you guys?
Yeah, we have a few things in the hopper. But I think having married a human rights an attorney in the film, I think we'll be in that realm.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing more from you guys. Congratulations on having American Promise here at the festival, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.